Thanks for staying with us. Yesterday, tragedy struck at Ojodu Grammar School bus stop on Ogba Ojodu Berger Road, Lagos, when a truck, allegedly chased by officials of the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency, LASTMA, rammed into school children returning from school, causing the deaths of students and left many injured. Multiple reports have it that this incident could have been avoided. This incident is rather sad, and we would like to hear your thoughts on this. Joining us to discuss this via Zoom is the Area Commander, Lima, Ojodu Division of Lagos State Traffic Management, LASTMA Authority, Oki Emmanuel. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Oki Emmanuel. Okay, I think before we get him, we'd like to continue this conversation. First of all, our hearts go out to the family of the deceased. We pray that they have the fortitude to bear this loss, about 15 or 17 of them. It's a very painful death. And then we had the story that it was these officials, VIO and LASTMA officials, that were chasing this truck driver, and then he ran into the students who were crossing the road. He ran down. He was about to run away when the mob chased him to a point that he had to bring out his knife. But luckily, the police, intervened, and he's been arrested. He's in custody right now. The mob went on rampage, burnt down the truck. Hoodlums also got involved, started damaging properties and destroying shops, looting. Everywhere was just disorganized in that area. But let me come to you. What are your thoughts on this incident? Is it avoidable?
Very avoidable now. Very avoidable. And because I benefited from the records, using technology to solve this kind of problem, I know it is possible in Nigeria. I know particularly it's possible in Lagos. In Lagos now, if you contravene any of these traffic rules, you simply get a ticket. You get an SMS. If you have not used your phone, recently I went to change, my husband has a dealer number that I drive with. I went to change the address on it to the address at home, and it was done all the way to the point of payment because we pay every year for that. There are records. You don't have to pursue a truck driver like this to this point. Someone had hit my car in Vaux and destroyed my right tire totally, and he drove off. And it was an interstate bus registered somewhere in Kano. Just by calling, getting the plate number, it was traced, and we had a mediation. These are solvable things that could have avoided 15 students. Some can be same children of one parent.
Yeah,
I can only
imagine the pain.
So there are also better ways of doing things, because the truck was burnt. And this is because there's no system.
Yeah.
So a person who has caused that accident would have been arrested, his truck taken. There will be vicarious liability on the part of truck owners if it's just a driver, if there's a company involved, because there are processes to things. There are better ways that we can find resolution at this than, now that the bus is destroyed, probably we've destroyed all the evidence.
Yeah.
The owner of the bus has incurred loss, will not be willing to compensate for the loss of lives or, damages caused, and a lot of other things like that. So we need to be more calm and trust that, things, and demand that, because the systems are in place. We just demand that, this method is used to solve the problem that is.
All right, I think we have Mr. Oki Emmanuel on the line now. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning. I can hardly hear you, though.
Yes.
So come so far away.
Okay, I'm struggling to hear you.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, sir. So let me ask you, first of all, to tell us exactly what the situation is concerning these children that have been killed by this truck driver.
Earlier I was calm earlier today, as of this morning. But things are much louder now. But we had some of these militants tried to gain entry into the FRSC compound, the Berger. But they were resisted by the men of security at the gate. My present location now, I'm actually along with Bulisi, just in front of the office. Area was calm earlier in the morning. Things are raging now. That much I can tell you.
Yeah. Mr. Emmanuel, a lot of people have said some eyewitness report. They have blamed LASTMA and other security operatives that normally stand on the road for sort of causing this accident. Could you please clarify this? In what way was LASTMA involved that caused this driver to run into these children?
Thank you very much. I want to say that what happened yesterday was not the handiwork of LASTMA or VIS, as people have been heard saying. We've heard such reports frequently. We were dismayed, but unfortunately for us, we don't have any choke points within the specific area. If you're coming from Ojodu Berger, the last point before grammar school, where you have LASTMA men, is in front of the yard itself, which is the road safety VIS LASTMA yard, along with GOTV. The next one you have that we have men, we have choke points. Will be our Omole traffic light point. And so for quite a stretch from the gate of the office to grammar school, we don't have any points there. So actually, LASTMA didn't play any role in what happened yesterday. That much I can tell you. I myself was at the office. The zonal head was there. The heads of operation, one of them was in the office, and the men had actually left their choke point because we were actually having a parade. The daily parade was actually going on when the incident happened. So if you have men on the road, very, very few men, very, very few, as at then when the incident happened. So LASTMA had no part. I'm going to say LASTMA had no part in that.
So excuse me, sir, let me understand what you're saying. Are you saying LASTMA officials or VIO are not involved in this?
And Federal Road Safety.
And Federal Road Safety, those ones had, given out a statement in the papers. I saw that this morning. They said they were not there. But he recorded LASTMA and VIO. Are you saying they are not involved, that they are not there?
LASTMA was not involved.
Sir, what can you say was the actual cause of accident?
LASTMA was not involved. I can tell you that much.
Can you hear me, sir?
LASTMA was not involved.
So what we want to find out is the cause of this accident. What happened? What caused the accident in the first place?
And the truck, apparently, the truck maybe was overspeeding. I think the driver lost control of the truck. And I was just unfortunate. I was at that particular time that the children were actually closing from school. So when they close on a daily basis like that, you have hundreds of them in bunches. They cross the road in bunches. The whole road is filled up with them. It's stretch of ability. But once they start coming out, they don't all bus buses to wherever their home is.
That's true.
So what they do, that we have so many of them walking in bunches along the roads. So, motorists just have to be careful. But apparently, this guy lost control of his truck.
So, sir, where did you think the story now came up that he was trying to escape VIO and LASTMA? Was it that somebody, social media, cooked it up? Because immediately the news broke yesterday, the news had it that he was trying to escape VIO.
I can't hear you very well.
What I'm asking, sir, that because, we tend to find that whenever things happen, everybody says, it's not me, we're not aware. But the story that broke indicated two people. They didn't indicate FRSC, they indicated VIO and LASTMA. They didn't indicate police officers. Why would somebody cook up the story and pinpoint two agencies? And then you're saying there was no truth to it?
Hello?
Can you hear me, sir?
Who knows where he is?
The sound is so faint. I can't hear very well.
I think we may have to let him go. Maybe we'll try to get him back.
Okay. I feel very concerned. I feel very concerned about these avoidable deaths that we've recorded in recent times of children, of adults. Many times these things happen where one person loses control and then they ram into a crowd, into human beings, into markets and all of that. And it brings many things to fall. The job of the government is to have, a good government has foresight, You're supposed to think ahead of every possible scenario. It's, they call it scenario building. If this happens, what can we do? If this happens, what can we do?
Ahead of time.
When issues like this happen, what are the police supposed to do? How do they prevent mob action? How do they prevent? We need to have all these scenarios already planned out so that there is quick response, because they've already done, like, what do they call that? Simulations of how they've prepared for these things, because those 15 children shouldn't have died. It was avoidable. Maybe there's a way we can coordinate the children, because usually it can be very rowdy when these kids finish school and they just go on the road. Maybe we should have prepared the children that while you're on the road, this is a major road, this is the line. Maybe they would have marked the road. Maybe when accidents like this happen, what's the first response? We should have, that place is pretty close to a lot of security officials' points, that there should be quicker response so that we avoid vandalism by citizens who are angry. Another scenario is a case of when we have dramas like this take place, there should be quicker response from the security officials saying that this and this is what happened. I feel like there's sort of like a cover-up, because we cannot prove what happened. The person that was driving the car, we can't find. What's he saying?
We'll hear.
We haven't heard that. Okay, let me hear your thoughts.
So, like we said, this incident could have been avoided. You know, it's so heavy to talk about the fact that families will be mourning their children. They send them off to school in the morning, expecting them. And you know, there's some things that's just like nature to you. Like, if the sun will come out in the morning, the children will go to school and they will come back. And then to hear this sort of story and the way that they passed, it could have been avoidable in so many ways, just like Tokwe had mentioned, which is we already know that place as a high pedestrian area. Okay. I remember when I was in school in ABU Zaria, just right in front of our main gate is an express. And we've had incidents where the students would try to cross, and either they'll be knocked down. And I even had a friend who was killed on that road. It was so bad, because students had complained over and over. It seemed like the government wasn't doing anything. So students came out, and people in the area also came out en masse in protest. Like, how do you leave it to the point that a student gets killed? Something you should have looked into. Shouldn't there have been a pedestrian bridge? Some people had even said, you know, do speed bumps in such a way that it starts slowing the vehicles, you know, a distance from the gate of the school, because it's just normal that people are going to try and access that road. Yeah. Most students are, you know, walking. So with this one, you know that there are schools there, you know that there are children. It's just normal that it should occur to you that we have to do something in a case so that things like this do not happen. Yeah. We have talked about, and there was a particular state we did where a car like this also ran into a market, and they started now talking about ramps to be built. But this was not because it was the first time that it happened. We're just always really slow to take action. I'm hoping, I don't know, what do we do for the parents of these children? Is there any sort of compensation that we can even give these children? Okay, so first of all, also, to even appease, it would be best to say exactly those who were involved and in what form they were involved. Yeah. You were chasing a truck driver. I understand also on the other side where sometimes we have this unruly drivers, yeah, trying to escape. Yes, trying to escape, because sometimes they ram into your car, brush your car, because they're trying to run from traffic law operatives. And remember, we had a VIO here say when we're complaining that VIO will stop me in my nice car, and then these rickety buses are passing. And he said there's a place where we know where we find them. And I'm hoping that that's what they look into for trucks like this. There has to be a place where you find them if they're unruly. But secondly, we also know that these operatives have stopped cars because they're trying to collect bribes. Yes. And these drivers are trying to escape giving yet another bribe. Yes. So we need to know exactly what happened.
So we have a report. Before I come to you, the Lagos State Police Command have given out their reports in the Punch. They are saying 2 students of Bab Fafunwa Millennium School in Ojodu were killed when the accident happened, and 12 injured. So I think we don't have 15 deaths. So 2 killed, 12 injured. I think more reports will come out. Then also, what happened was, because you talked about, I think Tokwe mentioned first responders, police responding to. They said responders came from the report I read in the morning, that they came and the mob were already angry, and so they started attacking them, and so they had to run back. So that brings me to the question of, what do we do when this sort of accident happens? Is it the first thing to start attacking people who are supposed to be helping the children, or do we focus on helping the children get out? Also, I remember growing up, the places where you have schools, close, there's always either a police officer, or we didn't have LASTMA at the time, who would help the children cross the road. Why don't we have that in this sort of area?
This wasn't about, you know, the children not being assisted to cross the road. But the Ogunisi Road, this road from Ojodu to all the way down to the Ogunisi Road to Ogba, is not a pedestrian-friendly road.
Okay.
From my view, I drive that road regularly. In fact, that college bus stop is where Figures is located, my sister-in-law, and I go there regularly. I always wondered how, when you're trying to avoid another car who is reckless, you're almost in the gutters. So if someone was standing by that gutter, especially in front of that school, you push that person off if you were trying to avoid the reckless driver too. So on that road, I'm extremely slow and careful. But if someone who doesn't know the road well, probably a truck driver from out of Lagos State had to pass through that road, he would do the same. And so we need, that's on the part of government to first of all upgrade that. But you can hear from the accounts of the Federal Road Safety official that it was a rumor. It was a rumor that this accident was caused by their officials because they have their headquarters. The VIO headquarters is within the same yard as the Federal Road Safety, just before College bus stop. And so people are just thought that in them coming to rescue, they caused the accident and then further agitations. It is not unexpected that people will get agitated like this. So we continue to sensitize people that when an accident happens like this, be as patient and calm as possible to avert more damages.
Yes.
But then this has happened. So how did they on their own part now comport themselves so that we're further able to avoid many things? Number one, in front of that college road, if we need to do it, expand the road, move the buildings, because the population around that area has outgrown that road. That's a fact. Yeah. Let these children have a pedestrian bridge. If it has to be located within their fence, to the other side of the other property fence, whatever it has to cost is fine by me. Compensate the owners of the buildings around there and do one for them.
Because that's not college road, this is Ojodu. Grammar school bus stop.
That bus stop, grammar school bus stop ahead, I'm calling college road. So that bus stop, that school has been there forever since I've been going there. And it's such a tiny road that it's difficult for two cars who are not calm drivers to drive beside each other on that road.
Okay, let me pause you here. We have the chairman, Ojodu Local Government Development Council area, Shegu Odumbaku. Odumbaku.
We've lost him.
Oh, we've lost him. We've lost him. Yes. I think we'll have to find a way to get him back. So, as you were saying, we have to look into expanding the road and also deploy security officials to help these children cross the road. Traffic, LASTMA.
But you know, we could have bumps. You know, the speed bumps.
Okay.
You have speed bumps that will make you slow down. Anywhere there is a school, there should be speed limit of barely 20. That at no point can you run down a person with that speed limit. So if we have a speed limit and we have bumps to control the speed within those areas, many of the issues that we complain about will be prepared. I think every school should implement it. My children's school also, we noticed that there's a lot of traffic on that road. It's increased even after the school had been put there. So they put major speed bumps. You don't have a choice, you need to brake.
The chairman, Ojodu Local Government Development Council is back. Good morning, sir. Mr. Shegu Odumbaku. Good morning. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I know that this happened under your jurisdiction. What has been your immediate reaction and what are you still doing in this case?
Especially we found out about the unfortunate incident yesterday. I moved straight to the police station where we met with the DPO and the AIF commander.
Okay.
From there, we went to the school and met with the parents to calm their nerves and spoke to some of the area boys yesterday. We were able to calm them to avert for loss of properties and life. From there, we went around the hospitals, St. Timothy, Royal Hospital, Betel, and Lagos State Emergency Center and Control. To see firsthand the kids ourselves, the extent of injuries. And the ones that were taken to private hospitals, we took them for scan and other necessary intervention that wasn't available in the hospital.
Sir, we've just gotten another report that says the number of children.
I can hear you.
Okay, we've just recently gotten another report that said, because at first we heard 15 to 17 children may have lost their lives in that sad incident. But today we're hearing that there were 2 and the others are injured. Could you confirm that? And to what degree? Because sometimes when we hear people are injured, we think it's just a finger that has, shifted. To what degrees of injury are we talking about here?
Yeah, there's been a lot of misinformation in the media.
Okay.
The amount of deaths cannot be ascertained, but it's not what has been reported. We're waiting for the official press release by 12 this afternoon. And being around the hospitals, I've seen the different degrees of injuries being sustained. They were quite serious. But the silver lining under it, because they are kids, they will, the doctor was telling me they will be able to recuperate in no time. 3 have been transferred to LASTMA. The one that was unconscious yesterday, regained operation that I witnessed. And others are stable. I've gone around this morning to the hospital to check all the kids that had the power yesterday, and they're all stable condition.
Okay, so this thing happened since yesterday.
Degree of injuries ranges from fracture, legs, handbrake, pelvis, and about 2 or 3 with head trauma. None are life-threatening as at this moment.
Okay.
But we still don't have a specific number of those that have died.
Hello?
But he said that they will still live. So you are saying that only 2 people, we only lost 2 lives.
Thank God.
I can't confirm that, but it's not what's being reported in the media. At 7 o'clock, we release the official figures.
We have an eyewitness account from someone close to a friend of the house, saying that bodies lined up on the floor for about an hour was up to 16.
Yeah, like the face of press released by the police, but what's going for the doctors, the people they were speaking to give us official statements. At times like this, we need coolness and cool head so that we don't create already tense issues.
It makes sense.
Okay, sir. Please, what are you doing as the LCDA chair and to bring calmness to that entire axis? How are you relating with the, I won't call them hoodlums, the people that ended up burning down the truck, and to prevent further damage?
Yeah, there were quite some few damages to the police station. Some vehicles, patrol vehicles, and some lorries were damaged within the community, which has been taken care of. Apart from that, I'm holding a stakeholders meeting at the school this morning. With all stakeholders involved, the LASTMA people, the FRC, the DPO, the school principals, the schools affected, CDA, CDCs, the community at large, to see how we can come together and find the lasting solution to avert such occurrence in the future.
Chairman, sir, please let me throw in this question again. We spoke to the LASTMA head concerning what caused this, and he clearly denied the involvement of LASTMA. But the first news that we got was that LASTMA and VIO were both the one involved, and that they led to the driver trying to speed away, and that led to this accident. From your own investigation, what information can you give us, sir?
Yes, we're hearing different versions of what has happened. The police are top of it, like I said earlier, and they promised to give us, I won't promise the parents as well, to get to the bottom of what happened. I think they deserve to know what has happened to their kids.
Yes.
The whole community deserves to know, the whole world deserves to know, and I'm right on top of it.
Yeah.
The reason why this has happened, we need to get to the bottom so that it doesn't happen again. If it's a witch hunt, so be it. I'm going to make sure I get to the bottom of who and who were responsible for such attacks that they are.
Yes, I would like to find out also, is there any data or any to show how often accidents happen along that particular road? Have there been instances where people have lost their lives there, and maybe for some reason the community does not feel like they got justice? And if it's a high pedestrian area with traffic, what is the council looking at, to protect pedestrians that use that road alongside drivers?
Yeah, I grew up in this area, luckily enough. This is the first time I'm hearing of this such unfortunate incident. With that being said, we can't rest on our laurels and leave things to take care of itself. We're looking into different interventions that we can do for now. Bumps on the road, liberal parking, or even changing the exit gate completely to a different, to come out as I-Not Street instead of the major road. all options are met, and I'm pretty sure we'll go for the one that is most viable to solve this and make sure it doesn't happen.
Okay, sir, before I let you go, what is the plan concerning the parents of these children? How many have you identified? Is there any form of compensation that will be given to them, you know, to...
Yeah, I've met with the parents, and we're taking care of all the bills, the ones at the private hospital. I've met with doctors as well.
Okay.
And I've told them the council is right on top of it, and we'll deal with them in this very difficult time.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We have been speaking with the chairman, Ojodu Local Development Council area, Segun Odum Baku, and we'll keep monitoring this incident to see how it goes, probably find out the right data on the number of students that we have lost and those who are injured. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we take phone calls and messages. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, let me have the name. Okay. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Olusegun Ogungbemide.
Ogungbemide, good morning.
We should forgive her now. She's trying. The one that was said I had to go out for his father. Hello?
Good morning, Mr. Olusegun.
Good morning, I'm with you.
How are you doing today, sir?
We thank God.
All right. I'll be with you in a moment.
Okay.
Sector Commander, Federal Safety Corps. Thanks for staying with us. Now we have the Lagos Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Olusegun Ogungbemide, on the phone to talk about this issue. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing today, sir?
We thank God.
All right. So I read in the papers this morning that the FRC denied their involvement in the cause of this accident. Can you tell us exactly what you think happened?
Yes, let me start by commiserating with the families and the entire Lagos for the loss of those wonderful kids. It is so unfortunate that such incident had to happen. The truth of the fact of the whole incident was that some few minutes after 2, Federal Safety Corps operatives were invited to the rescue scene by passerby. You agree with me that our office is along that same corridor, that Ogunosi corridor, that is where the incident happened at Ojodu Secondary School. So we were invited to come and do rescue operation, and we were there. And we were able to rescue about 12 to 14 students that were injured, while with the support of other passerbys. And it was on their way back after dropping those injured ones at the hospital to continue with the rescue, when they were informed that the whole place had gone violent, and people were alleging that operatives of Federal Safety Corps and some other agencies will have been pursuing the truck driver that got involved in this crash. It's quite unfortunate that the efforts that was being put in place for us to rescue the situation turned against us. I wouldn't know where such information emanated from, but it's not too good for the system.
So it's really, I'm really worried if investigation finds out and proves that this did not involve LASTMA and VIO officials. It would just mean that a story was cooked up and it has led to more challenges, because from everybody's reports, this thing was being amicably dealt with until the information that this accident happened because of some security operatives, and then things escalated. So it just means that people cooking up stories can have such huge impact on how reactions would go. But, sir, I am still trying to find out, is it impossible to confirm the number of people that died in these accidents?
Yes, from the information I got, at the time my men were trying to rescue the remaining, the ones that were injured, only 2 lively bodies were on ground, and they were actually the first to get there. So, and I never heard of any other further number mentioned. So, at the point of the rescue, 2 people were confirmed to be lifeless. So, you know, we couldn't go back to continue with the information, with the rescue.
Okay.
So, I want to believe the domiciliary unit, the police division around that area will be able to give the vivid account of the number of fatalities.
Since your station or your office is around that area, can you help us confirm if there are actually checkpoints in that area? Because they've allegedly been, you know, extorting truck drivers that pass on that road, according to some eyewitnesses. Do they have police or LASTMA checkpoints in that area?
Whether there was what?
Do they have police or LASTMA checkpoints in that area, especially for trucks?
No, there's no, you know, the office, we have 3 agencies that are occupying the premises on that corridor. So everybody, we have the Federal Safety Corps, we have LASTMA, we have BIS. That is the office they occupy, they share the same corridor with the school. So driving in and coming out is still along the same corridor. So there could be a misconception somewhere. As regards the Federal Safety Corps, there was no any operations going on at that moment. We never had any reason to stop or pursue any truck. And you also know that for so many years, Federal Safety Corps has stopped the idea of pursuing them because of the technology we have in place. We have a very robust database. The only thing that is required for us is to get the number of the vehicle, and we can trace them anywhere. So if we don't pursue smaller vehicles, how will we now go about pursuing articulated vehicles? We are too professional for that. We were only invited to that scene to rescue those innocent kids, and that was what we did promptly. And it's quite unfortunate that this news could just emanate from somewhere, and there are a series of attacks on our facilities. It's quite unfortunate.
Mr. Ogba, because you're federal safety again, and because you people keep the data of, you know, roads, activities and accidents, how often do you see accidents happen on this Ogunusi Road?
Along that corridor?
Yes, sir.
You know, it's a very busy corridor.
Yes.
So that's why this one is a major surprise to me. It's a very busy corridor. You can hardly pinpoint a particular period, because from morning till evening, that road is always busy. How is he even able to make such? If an incident happened in front, assuming he was pursued in front of the office, look at where he went and ran into these children. So I cannot, the investigation is still going on to really get to the root of what really happened to the driver. Thank God he's in custody. He should be in the best position to tell the members of the public what really transpired before he got to that point. So we hardly record crashes along that corridor because the traffic is always heavy, and our operatives are always there maintaining traffic.
Okay, so let me take a few messages from Facebook.
Let me round up with him. Thank you so much, Mr. Olusegun Ogungbemide.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes, we've been speaking with the Lagos Sector Commander, FRSC, and I think we have to take the messages now before we go.
Today, Babatunde says, the way the news is handled and managed in Nigeria saddens me. How are you telling us that your correspondents could not get to the scene to give us first-hand information? Why will media houses pick news from internet/social media, which is really worrisome? But you see, people have to protect themselves. The news that came out, now we cannot even believe anything we read online anymore because we don't know what is true. Because what we saw was that 15 to 16, even 17 people died, only for the official reports to say there are 2 people that died, and yet we still don't know the number of people that died till now.
And I can also understand how people would see, bodies lying down.
Because some are getting treated.
Yes, some are injuries where they cannot get up, and some have to be confirmed. Deaths actually have to be confirmed. So you can see lots of bodies just lying and just assume.
So, but
Nima, hold on, please. Let me take this call. We have a Owolabi from Egbeda. Owolabi, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Happy Christmas in advance. Please, a quick one for this. Both the FIRS, the FIO, and LASTMA, they always took advantage of that road. I know the road very well, and I have a truck flying on that road. They always took advantage because the road leads to express. Whenever my truck is going to the express through that road, and they'll be at the middle of the traffic looking for a truck, even though you carry load or you don't carry load, and that place is very closer to their office. They took advantage of that road a lot. This is 1 out of 100 that is happening on that road. The sector is not telling you the fact. Telling you that, okay, when they reinforce them from the office, this and that, they will even be telling you that, no, step on your dad to send money now before you will enter our station. It is just Ojodu here. It is very common with this Ojodu. This same Ojodu, they are not speaking out the truth of the matter. Even the sector is not speaking out the truth. That's just the fact. I like the question you asked that, okay, are there always a checkpoint on that route? The answer is yes.
Wow.
Road testing resumed as early as 5:30 on that route, and they closed 6 instead of closing around 4.
Wow.
I will tell my driver, wait till after 4 before you move so that they will have closed. But they will still be on that road after 5 to 6. Doing what? Now life has lost. Is it compared to the money you want to collect from people? Thank you. Have a blessed day in Lagos.
Thank you so much, Mr. Owolabi. Nima, you were going to say something.
So I was going to say that, completely forgot what I was going to say with what he was saying.
It's just so sad.
Yeah, but now that he has told us that there are checkpoints on that road, I know why I asked that question, because when I read the report this morning, a lot of people complained that there's always extortion going on that axis, whether it's VIO, whether it's LASTMA.
Because at the junction, the one from Agidingbi, there is
a checkpoint.
Security officials, all of them are there. Then the one by that, where the FRSC, where you do the U-turn, they are there as well. So you cannot, there's no, it's not, so the question you don't need to ask, there are people on the road. Because
the denial.
That's not a denial.
Exactly.
I drive on that road, I've never been stopped.
They're not stopping. You
are not a truck.
I've never been stopped. No, but these are car users also. I've never been stopped there. We have traffic managers there. That road, there's a U-turn right in front of Federal Road 50. They're constantly trying to clear traffic. You have drivers drive recklessly on that. I just said it now. That the driver almost put me in the gutter, driving recklessly. They also have a U-turn when you're coming from Omole to turn in front of that. So you have traffic managers there, and it could be any uniform of the 3 of the agencies. What you have is that cars that have been impounded from anywhere are sometimes brought into the yard. You can have that altercation. But nobody has ever stopped me. They bring your license, all those kind of things we see on Badagry Expressway, and all of those things.
Truck drivers may tell you differently. Because, and
the ones that experience it.
So there are some things that we know from being a Nigerian, that extortions usually happen at checkpoints. And we know that sometimes drivers try to avoid that, and they drive recklessly. And
so I was going to...
Let me quickly take this call. I'll come back to you, Anima. Lord Wilson from Ojodu, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
BBC, my Joe, thank you very much for being fast and quick to bring matters as hot as they are. This event, as at yesterday, at 2:37, I was on my way towards Ojodu, and I met the scene But the traffic did not allow us to really know what happened until I had to park by rain oil. I came down to call those boys, what is the matter? He told me what happened. And I drove towards that environment. 3 things this exposes us to is the fact that, to start with, our enforcement is an error. Our enforcement is an error. There's a time I had a rift in front of Ojodu, the agency, with LASTMA. Now, how will you use, I was on the other lane in the evening, a young man did one way, and they used this truck, these Hausa boys used to park there. They used the truck, they pushed the truck to the front of the vehicle, and the man slammed the brake and hit the truck. And I pulled over and I went there. So, gentlemen, if you need to enforce, you don't need to create other issues. Are you sure the person you are pushing a truck to his front doesn't know how to drive? The person pushing the truck is on mufti. The person pushing the truck is on mufti. So if the person doesn't know how to drive, either it's a shock and the person runs into the officer pushing the truck, the news will be that somebody killed the last man and all that. And that went down. Now, the road for Ojodu, I have written the state government, I've written Ojodu local government, I've visited the DPO's office, I have spoken with Ogashegu, the road safety. What is the government trying to do? That if they close in the afternoon, you need to see the traffic, the way, they are children, and they must behave like children.
Thank you so much, Lord Wilson. Nima, let me hear.
So I wanted to talk about the bodies that, the unconfirmed 2 to 16 bodies. So if a witness account is saying they had 16 bodies lying down and they could not confirm that they were all dead, the delay of 1 hour plus that they had to wait, and then the form of transportation that they used to get them to the hospital were things that I wanted to find out also. So this morning there was an accident at Fagbems on Mile 2 Expressway. So I left so much earlier and it was still dark, so I had to go into Amodofi to come out so that there will be at least more lights where I'm driving. And we were stopped, and a body had been involved in an accident, and they picked that body up with a Hilux van. You'd expect an ambulance, the LRU one, to come there. So this kind of accident that happened, so they could have come there with a proper medical vehicle, an ambulance, probably without, and then that could even mitigate in reducing the number of bodies.
I think we'll have to get into this into the details of the story, because they said there were first responders that were chased back. So we don't know if it's the ambulance that came and was chased back.
They took 12.
It was that of the federal.
And when they were going to come back to get more, they couldn't.
They weren't able to take them in. I also remember that the government has a rule that all these articulate trucks are not supposed to ply the roads during the day. Who is enforcing this rule? Why do we have them on the roads during the day? But first of all, let's take Sage from Ojodu Berger. Good morning, Sage.
Good morning.
You're live.
Yeah, good morning. Yes, thank you for your prompt response to the program, the incident that happened yesterday.
Thank you.
I want to tell you of the truth that corridor is a very crazy point. Sorry for that word. For these law enforcement officers. You see that roundabout at Ojodu? I've arrested there like twice. The traffic light will just blink green for 2 seconds. When the car in front of you moves and you follow, they stop you. The camera picks your vehicle. If that can happen, then I believe they should be able to picture what happened on. You go through that road, you see from that bend after that about that pedestrian bridge, you see LASTMA there. That's Kosovo Junction, you find road safety, police, VIO there, stopping vehicles. Further down, in front of their offices, or office too, they stop vehicles there to check them, so to say. So I'm very sure something has happened. And these guys, they still chase vehicles. Road safety, VIO, or LASTMA, they chase vehicles, just get something from them. They tell you before you go to the office, say to us, I've been the victim of that before. They collect money from me right in front of their gate instead of taking me to the office. Because I told them, let's go into the office. I'll call who I have to call the Lagos State government to get me out of there. I did not do anything wrong. I followed the green light. After they ran this roundabout, I went off. And you're telling me I broke a highway code. I didn't follow the traffic light.
Thank you so much. This has just been very funny. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? Once again, our heart goes out to the entire family, those that lost a child,
those that their child got injured, those whose child is in critical condition. All of us as parents here, we cannot imagine what your pain is. And from every time we have these experiences, it is foolish for us to let it repeat itself. It is wisdom for us to prevent it.
To learn from it.
And then more importantly, at this point that we have already experienced it, may it not happen again by us doing all we can.
All we need to
ensure it never happens again.
And then for the top personnel at Federal Road Safety Commission, LASTMA, VIO, I think it is not enough to just deny. Or our people don't stand on the road, our people do not extort. It is not necessary. When people bring this thing up, it is not to make you look bad. It's so that you can correct it. Because when we keep saying it was unavoidable, apart from the recklessness of the driver, the sort of activities, illegal activities that go on there
around the area
are also part of the reasons why such a thing happened. So please, let us put our hands together and work honestly, because what goes around comes around.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We'll keep monitoring this situation, monitoring the accident, and see what comes out. I hope that the people who are culpable will be brought to justice, and I hope that there's a way we can find compensation for these parents, especially the ones who lost their children. Let's not forget, Your View will be having our own version of 12 Days of Christmas from tomorrow, Thursday, the 9th, till the 22nd of December, and we will be giving out 50,000 naira each to 12 lucky fans. All you have to do is send us a message on your platforms, tag at TVC Connect with Your View TVC hashtag, and tell us why the 50,000 naira is of utmost importance to you. I wish you all the best for those people who finally get the 50,000 naira. So we'll come your way again tomorrow. Thank you so much, ladies. Have a lovely day.
Bye.